I'm George Simons, co-founder of SoloSuit, and today I'm going to show you folks in South Carolina how to respond to a debt collection lawsuit. First thing you need to know is that you only have 20 days to respond to the lawsuit in South Carolina, otherwise you automatically lose your case. Alright, so if you don't want to lose your case, make sure you respond within the 21-day deadline. And for all of you smarty pants out there, the statute that talks about that deadline is the South Carolina Civil Court Rules 12A. Alright, that's 12A. Tell your friends. There's 4 steps to respond to a debt collection lawsuit in South Carolina. First, create the answer document. Second, answer each issue of the complaint. Third, assert your affirmative defenses. And fourth, file the answer with the court and serve the plaintiff. In case you didn't know, SoloSuit can do all of this for you. Okay, you can just go over to SoloSuit.com. We'll ask you a few questions, you give us some answers. We'll take your answers and generate your answer document. Then we'll even have an attorney review it for you, and we'll make sure it gets filed with the court and the opposing party. So if you didn't know, now you know. But don't take my word for it. Okay, I am George Simons, co-founder of SoloSuit. But we also have a great review from George Harris, one of SoloSuit's customers. George said, when an aggressive debt collection law firm served me with a summons even after I had requested, and they had failed to provide verification of debt, I needed an answer document quickly. I came across SoloSuit. The service was quick, fast, and on time. I think that means we were like super fast. Now the collection firm has to put up or shut up. Thanks, Team SoloSuit. No, thank you, George, for that great review. All right, from one George to another, love that review. So, step 1, create your answer document to the summons. All right, you know you're being sued when you receive a complaint and summons document in the mail. All right, here's what a summons looks like in South Carolina. Now, you also will receive a complaint document, and the complaint document tells you why you're being sued, and it looks like this. Alright, so the complaint document has a bunch of numbered paragraphs, and these paragraphs are allegations or statements that the plaintiff or the debt collector is making against you. And you have to make an answer document to respond to all those numbered paragraphs and send that into the court so you can say whether or not the paragraphs that are in the complaint are true. Okay, so an answer document isn't just like a little love letter that you write out in nice little cursive and send to the court. That's not right. The judge will be like, nah, I don't want that. They will reject that answer, okay? It's got to be properly stylized, properly formatted answer document. All right, so you start off with the caption up at the top. This will include like the names of the parties, the contact info for you, the name of the court, the case number. Those are some of the essential parts on the document. The case number is really important. Okay, so that's how you get started with your answer document. Step 2 is answer each item in the complaint. Okay, so now that you've created the answer document, you have the caption ready to go, you're actually going to respond to those numbered paragraphs in the complaint. And you don't just say like whatever, you don't just say, oh, you know, I don't have any money, you know, it's not my debt. You don't just like say, you know, whatever you want. You actually want to respond in specific legal ways, all right? So there's really 3 ways you respond to one of the numbered paragraphs in the complaint. You can say, I admit it, I deny, or I deny for lack of knowledge. All right. So if you admit, that means you agree with everything in the paragraph, right? If you admit the paragraph, you agree with everything in it. If you deny it, that means you disagree with something. You just disagree with like one thing in the paragraph, right? That's all. The way we think about deny here at SoloSuit is that you aren't really saying the paragraph isn't true. You're really just saying I refuse to admit the paragraph, and I request that the plaintiff, the debt collector, prove that the paragraph is true. An important thing to note here is that it's not up to you to prove that you don't owe the debt. It's actually up to the debt collector to prove that you owe the debt. All right, big difference there. So what we say is the burden of proof is on the debt collector. And the third way to respond is deny for lack of knowledge. All right, this is basically just a fancy way of saying, I don't know. Once you've responded to all the numbered paragraphs, you're ready for step 3, which is assert your affirmative defenses. Okay, this is a fun part. Up till now, you've just been responding to what the debt collector said about you, but now you can actually bring up your own points in the case and make these affirmative defenses. Okay, so an affirmative defense is really just like a defense that you're making about the case that says like a good reason why you don't owe the debt. And again, like before, it's not like you just say whatever you want. There's actually specific legal terminology and a pretty long list of specific defenses that you can bring up. All right, but I'm just going to cover these in layman's terms, right? So one defense that is a really good one is you already paid the full amount of the debt. This actually happens pretty frequently, especially with hospitals. For example, hospitals oftentimes have like terrible record keeping, I found, where you go to the hospital, you pay the bill, the hospital kept bad records, they send your account to collections without even telling you, and now you're getting sued for a debt that you actually already paid. So you can raise that defense and just say, hey, I already paid it. Yeah, but it's important you have to raise it in the answer document, right? Another defense is accord and satisfaction. This is, again, like a legal term. What it means is that you already paid a smaller amount of the debt with an agreement that would satisfy the full amount, right? So you have like an arrangement with the creditor. He said, hey, instead of paying me $1,000, you can just pay me $800 and we'll call that good. And you paid that $800 and therefore the debt is satisfied. But again, they kept bad records, so now you're getting sued. You got to bring it up as a defense. Another good defense is the debt was discharged in bankruptcy. A lot of debts, like credit card debts, are actually just resolved in bankruptcy. Once you declare bankruptcy properly, oftentimes those debts will just be like waived and they're uncollectible now. And then another affirmative defense that people love is bringing up the statute of limitations and saying that it has expired. People are like, get on Google and like type in, has my statute of limitations expired? Sometimes it has, sometimes it hasn't. I'm going to go into this in more detail because it is a great and powerful defense. Alright, so I'm covering the statute of limitations in South Carolina for debt collection. The statute of limitations is just that. It's a statute that limits stuff. Right? In this case, it's limiting the amount of time that a debt collector can sue you for a debt. So if the statute of limitations has expired, then the debt collector is legally blocked from actually being able to sue you. That said, it doesn't mean that they just can't sue you and they're automatically going to lose. No, you still have to respond and bring up that defense in the answer. Okay, the judge isn't looking out for you. Nobody's looking out for you but you. And maybe yes, we're looking out for you too. But ultimately, it's up to you to bring that defense up in your answer document, get it filed, let the judge know, hey, the statute of limitations has expired. Statute of limitations in South Carolina are covered by the South Carolina Code of Laws, section 15-3. 15-3. So here are what the statute of limitations are in the state. So for oral debt, statute of limitations is 3 years. For written debt, it's 3 years. For mortgages, like a house, it's 3 years. If you have open debt, pretty uncommon, 3 years. Credit card debt, 3 years. Credit card debt is of course very common. They can only sue you for a 3-year window. That's pretty short. Okay, so it's 3 years for pretty much everything in South Carolina. And then finally, court judgments, it's actually 10 years, right? What's a court judgment? That's what happens if you lose your case because you didn't respond. The debt collector then gets a court judgment against you and they can now sue you. They can garnish your wages for another 10 years. It's a long time. So that brings us to step 4. File with the court and serve the plaintiff. Alright, people think, hey, this part's easy. What do I even need to watch this for? Alright, it's not easy. It's not over yet. You're not out of the fire yet. It actually can be pretty tricky to get that answer document once you have it into the court. Alright, so here's what you gotta do. You gotta print 2 copies of your answer document. You gotta send one to the court and the other to the plaintiff's attorney. Alright, we find SoloSuit oftentimes the easiest way to do that is just to mail it out via USPS. Usually USPS priority mail with a tracking number is good. Some people like doing USPS certified mail with the signature request and all that jazz. Alright, if this sounds complicated, it actually does get pretty complicated, and that's why people pay SoloSuit to file for them, right? You can go on SoloSuit, we'll have an attorney review the document for you, and then we will get it filed for you. We make sure that it gets filed for you, or your money back. Alright, we have a 100% money back guarantee that your document will get filed. Because you might be thinking, snap, I don't have a printer. Or like, snap, I haven't been to the post office in forever. Yeah, those are real concerns. Okay, some good things to know in South Carolina. Thankfully your courts don't usually charge a filing fee to respond. That's awesome. Some courts do, like California, huge filing fees. South Carolina, nope, no filing fees. That's great. Also, most of the summons lists the court address that you need to send the document to on the summons. That's great. You'll be surprised how many states don't do that. South Carolina, you can find the court address usually just right there on the summons. Also, the address that you need to send the answer document to for the opposing attorney, also usually just right on the summons. Those are the main points for South Carolina. SoloSuit can help you out. We can have an attorney review the document and file it for you if you don't even want to leave your house. A lot of people don't want to leave the house these days. We can just take care of it for you. Just click a couple buttons online. We'll get it all done, and we will help you win your lawsuit. All right? Around 70% of all of our customers get either their case dismissed, like it just gets like tossed right out of court, or they get a settlement where they pay a lot less than what they're being sued for. So those are good results right there. Listen to our friend Katrina. She left us this awesome review. She said, hey, I got hit with a lawsuit and started looking for information online. I found SoloSuit and decided to try them out. At first I was just interested in their free services, but I ended up going with a higher option and made the purchase for their service. Thanks, Katrina. No, thank you, Katrina. Thank you to all of our customers. You know, we're so happy to help people out and really help equalize the playing fields between these debt collectors and the consumers. That's what you need to know to respond to a debt collection lawsuit in South Carolina. As always, we are rooting for you.